Finger up. We're going live soon. We're live now.
Yes.
You're saying we're live now.
Yeah.
Hi everybody. I'm Ben Street. I'm one of the grill masters here at Broil King, and welcome. This is going to be our live cookout today for the TA Appliances virtual home show that's going on. We've got 4 people in the kitchen here today, so I'm going to start with some introductions and then I'm going to jump into it. So, like I said, Ben Street, grill master here at Broil King. We've got Jeremy, who's also a grill master here at Broil King. Behind the camera, we've got Raj. There's his hand. And then come all the way around the table here. And we've got Tyler, who's going to be on the live chat today. So if you have any questions, put them into the chat. Tyler's going to bring them up and we can answer them live. We've got some of the top grilling questions already prepared, so we can actually go through those as we get into this presentation today. We are coming to you live from Broil King's headquarters here in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. Great barbecues are made right here in Ontario. Headquarters is in Waterloo, and this is our showroom. So this is where we have all of our great Broil King grills on display. We bring customers in here and take them through that whole experience. We've got lots of grill accessories and a lot of variety in here as well. This is also where you're going to find our test kitchen. So when we're cooking up a great meal, or we want to try out a new grill, try out some new recipes, or really just come up with great content, this is where we do it. This is Broil King headquarters. So thank you for joining us today. And as you sign on, if you have any questions, if you have any of those pressing grilling tips that you're looking for, like I said, just drop them into the chat. So the main things that we're going to touch on today, and Jeremy, can you actually grab my paper that's on the table that's got my topics? The main thing that we're going to talk about today is flavor. I mean, you buy a grill because you want barbecue flavor. Thank you very much. And when you want barbecue flavor, well, what makes that different from any other flavor that you're going to get in your kitchen? So we're going to go through that, because Broil King is a grill that's built for barbecue flavor. But on top of that, about halfway through, we're going to start getting into some grilling tips. It's incredibly warm outside today. I think it's going to get up to about 17 to 19 degrees. So, in my opinion, spring's here. Let's get grilling. So we want to give you some grilling tips to get your grill ready and get you ready for grilling your way into the summer. So as we go along here, there's a lot to learn, a lot of things to pick up on. If you miss this session, or if you miss most of it, you can always pick it up again on the TA website. The products that we're using here today are going to be in the video as well, and there's other products that we're going to touch on here that we can add as we go along. So there's some great resources that we can share too from the Broil King blog that help you get ready for summer and get you ready to grill. So why don't we just jump into it? So part 1, a barbecue built for flavor. And what does that mean? I mean, when you buy a grill, you want barbecue flavor, but what is barbecue flavor? What makes it different than anything else? So you can cook a lot of things in your kitchen. You can cook a lot of the same things on your grill. Let's talk about some of the big ones. Let's talk about steak. You can cook a steak in a pan. And when you do it in the kitchen, you're going to get a lot of the same things that you get in the backyard. You're going to get sear. You're going to get that golden brown surface. You're going to get the right doneness. But does it taste the same? So when you think about barbecue flavor, think about that thing you cooked in the kitchen and that thing that you grilled outside. Do they taste the same? And they don't. Because the big difference is grilled flavor comes from something called vaporization. When juices come off of your foods and they fall down onto a hot surface, that turns into a vapor that rises up and it sticks to your food. And that is that unmistakable barbecue smell and that unmistakable barbecue flavor that we all love. So when we're talking about grilling and wanting that grilled flavor, the big thing you have to remember is you're buying a grill because you want grilled flavor. So the Broil King cooking system, and the way we've designed it, and the way that we've promoted it for many years, is built around flavor. We want you to have an experience that's built around flavor. And it all starts with the grease tray. So when we're talking about the Broil King flavor story here, when you look into the grease tray on your grill, if there's nothing in the grease tray, you got to ask yourself, all of those juices that came off the steak, that came off the grilled vegetables that we're working with, that came off of that chicken that I grilled, where did those juices go? And they fell into the grill and they hit hot metal surfaces. And those hot metal surfaces cause those juices to turn into a steam, a vapor, a little bit of smoke, and then rise up. And that's that beautiful white smoke that you see rolling out of your grill when you're grilling. And that's also that wonderful smell, that aroma, and that flavor that you get from the whole process. So when you look into the drip tray and there's nothing in there other than a little bit of charred bits and maybe a couple drops, that is because all of that has been turned into flavor. And we have a great little diagram for it here too. So this is kind of an adventure through the flavor story. So we're going to start at the bottom. So we've got a grease tray that has next to nothing in it because all that flavor's been vaporized on the way up. And then we move up to the cook box. Well, because the burners get incredibly hot, the cook box gets hot too. And that's a layer of vaporization, even right in the bottom of the grill. So anything that falls into the bottom of the grill, it gets a chance to vaporize, rise up, and flavor your food. Above that, you're going to have the Flavour Wave. So those flavor bars that you see in most grills are designed to give you some vaporization, but when you look at a Broil King, this is almost a complete full surface vaporization area. It gives you much more even heat right at the Flavour Wave itself, directly above the burner. And it's not designed to just take those juices and throw them away. We don't want those juices in the drip tray. We want them to flavor your food. We want that unmistakable aroma to flavor what you're grilling. And then we go up to the cooking grates, which are the top level here. And we've got heavy cooking grates, heavy cast iron, heavy rod stainless cooking grates, and they're going to be that first layer of vaporization, where you get that unmistakable sear mark, but you also start to get some of that vapor generating. So when we see that over here in the grill, you can kind of see that journey from top down. So we've got the cooking grates here. You put your steak under the cooking grates, it starts searing away, starts developing that awesome sear mark. Those drippings start to come off of it because we're taking those fat cells and a lot of the material near the surface of the steak, and we're breaking it down. The cells are exploding. The juices in them, the oil on the steak, the spices on the steak, they're getting washed off, and they're rolling down the sides of the cooking grates. And as they're doing it, it's creating that smoke. But then they've got to go somewhere, so they drip down to the first layer, which is that Flavour Wave. Hits the Flavour Wave. You get more of that smoke, more of that vapor coming. And then even if it rolls down into these little holes that you see in the Flavour Wave here that keep it away from the burner and channel it to the bottom, it hits more steel in the bottom of this completely sealed cook box to give you additional vaporization. And that's all a big part of the flavor story, because every Broil King grill, whether it's a pellet grill or gas grill, is built to give you that flavor. And whenever we're coming up with a new product, that's one of the things that we keep top of mind. So when we created the Broil King pellet grills, we needed to have that same experience. So let's talk about some of the things that are required for that. How do you get great flavor? We know that we've got those layers of vaporization. We kind of know how it's created. But then what do you need to do to get there? And the biggest thing is you need heat. I got asked a great question a couple weeks ago, which was the person who was asking was comparing flavor generated through grilling to smoking, like you get from burning woods using a pellet grill. Said, yeah, I love that barbecue flavor. It's unmistakable. But those two things aren't exactly the same. When you're dealing with something that you're grilling, that flavor that you're going to get is from juices dripping onto a hot surface, whether that's charcoal, whether that's steel. They're dripping onto a hot surface and they're rising up and they flavor your food. We all know that smell. Every time you cook on a gas grill, you know that smell. It's iconic. Everybody knows it. But a wood smell is not entirely the same. Now with the smoke itself, what you're going to notice is whether it's vapor smoke or wood smoke, it's going to stick to your food. So if you're going to cook a brisket for hours on end, all of that wood smell is going to, through smoke, stick to the outside of that brisket. The brisket's nice and wet. It's an easy surface for smoke to adhere to. You're going to get a lot of that smoky flavor. But when you're cooking at those lower temperatures, you're not getting the vaporization. Juices that fall down onto the heat plates below, they're not going to turn into that wonderful aromatic smoke. So they're two completely different things. So for vaporization for that flavor, you need hot steel, hot charcoal. So that's going to happen in that medium high to high cooking range. And when I'm saying high, I mean 500 to 600 degrees. 550 to 600 is preferable for a steak because you get those perfect sear marks, the right doneness without having too much graying of the meat towards that perfect doneness in the center. You want something that's fairly even all the way through. So vaporization and smoke flavor are not the same thing. They're two completely different ends of the spectrum on barbecue. When you're cooking up in those higher ranges too, you get other benefits like caramelization. I mean, when you're looking at this chicken right here, all of that golden brown is what's called a Maillard reaction, but really it's just developing and becoming more flavorful because you've got a lot of heat that's developed this beautiful crispy skin on the outside. A lot of the components of the flavor of that chicken, the surface of that chicken are changing as it's cooking. So when you get those higher ranges, you get that golden brown, you get that perfect sear, and you get that grilled flavor. So we need heat to get there, and the best way to generate that heat is to have power. When you look at a Broil King grill, down in the bottom of the cook box here, we've got what's called a dual tube burner. So you have this larger diameter burner, and Rarish, if you just want to take a look down at here, you have this larger diameter burner, and it has two ribbons of flames on it. So we have one ribbon of flame on the left side and one ribbon of flame on the right-hand side of the burner. So every single burner, although there's 5 burners in this grill, every single burner produces 2 ribbons of flame. So it acts kind of like 10 burners. Gives you incredibly even, but powerful heat right at the heat source. That rises up to the Flavour Wave, heats it up, gives you great radiant heat, more of that searing power. Because you're going to need that for that flavor story. Flavor, 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 and more flavor. I think we've gone through a lot of the key aspects on that. We'll come back to some of this as we just keep going on here. But the biggest thing to remember is that the Broil King grill whether it's a gas grill or pellet grill that we're going to come over to next, are all built for flavor. So, for our show over here, when we're talking about a pellet grill and all of the searing heat that it's going to need, when you think about pellet grills, most of the time you think about pellet smokers. Pellet grills don't generally get hot. And when we were developing a Broil King pellet grill, we needed something that could sear the perfect steak, but also create that perfect brisket. So for us, that all started with the concept of the burn pot and the wood. What are we going to burn? How hot is it going to burn? And what is it going to generate to give us those performance characteristics that we want? So the first place to start is you look at your pellets. You got to make sure you've got the right fuel. We use a smaller diameter pellet because it's easier on the grill. It's easier for the auger to move to the burn pot, and it's easier to get burning. You have more surface area, so you get a little bit more smoke. So on the low end, when we're talking about smoking low and slow, we've got a pellet that's going to process and ignite and burn better to give you a better smoky flavor. Now, when you're talking about smoke coming out of your pellet grill, I want you to picture this. If you have billowy white smoke coming out of it, well, we think that's a ton of grilled flavor, or sorry, a ton of smoky barbecue flavor. It's not. It's not a flavor that you want to stick to your food. Tons of billowy white smoke can taste pretty bad if you baste your food in it constantly. And if you have a grill that's actually punching out tons of smoke, you put some sausages in there, you see what they look like, they're going to have this kind of ashen, dark look on the outside because you've got all of that sticking to it. It doesn't taste great, and the more you put it on there, the worse that flavor is going to be. That's a fire that's starved of oxygen. The fuel's not burning completely, and it's producing a ton of smoke. Now, if you notice that white smoke starts to turn into a brown smoke, now that smoke is completely loaded with fuel, and that stuff tastes terrible. The more loaded with fuel it gets, it also becomes more dangerous. That kind of smoke can ignite on its own. It can combust. So we want to go to the opposite spectrum of that. We want to go to something that's going to be a thin white smoke, or as they call it in barbecue, a thin blue smoke. It's going to be loaded with flavor, and although it doesn't look intense, it's going to give your food the best flavor. So Broil King pellets, and the way that the burn pot and this grill are designed to give you that thin blue smoke for that ultimate flavor, because it's a hot fire, but it's not an intense fire at low temperatures. And over a long period of time, doing a brisket, pork shoulder, doing some ribs, it's exactly what your food's going to want. But now we got to go to the other end of the spectrum. We want to take this pellet grill and take it from 225 degrees, and we want to go all the way up to 600 and sear the perfect steak. That's a completely different list of demands. And what you're going to need to do to get there is you're going to need to be able to get hot. You're going to need to be able to get hot fairly quickly, and then you have to retain that heat so you can sear that steak. There's a lot of grills out there that you can get hot, but as soon as you put food onto the cooking surface, the food sucks all the energy out of the cooking surface. We'll get into more of that as we get really specific on cooking grades, but if you can't retain the heat, you're going to lose it quickly if you generated it quickly. So what we've done is made a pellet grill that's heavy. There's a lot of material here to retain all that heat, to deliver more radiant energy and deliver more sear. So when you lift the lid on a Broil King grill, you'll notice that you've got heavy cooking grates on our gas grills, heavy cooking grates on our pellet grills, and heavy materials inside. All of the heat plates inside one of these things are incredibly thick, and they're incredibly thick so they retain that heat and give you that constant vaporization. I'm about to start laughing here because Rarish has like the smoothest camera skills right now as he's moving from side to side. So we wanted a grill that would give you that perfect grilling experience out of a pellet grill. And here's the challenge. When we go to that gas grill, like I said, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 burners, 10 ribbons of flame. Go back to the pellet grill, you have one burner. You have one burner right in the center. So we've got this large diameter burn pot that has to generate a ton of energy to heat up everything around it. So when that burn pot burns, it heats up the heat deflector directly above it, and it starts to radiate with a lot of intense energy. Above that is going to be a grease ramp, but it's also a great vaporization surface, so that thing heats up and it starts to radiate energy. The grill absorbs a lot of it because this is a heavy-duty grill. I mean, you won't see a Broil King Regal pellet grill with a blanket on it in the winter. It's got lots of mass to retain that heat and keep cooking. But all of that mass we've built into it so that we can retain the heat to sear the perfect steak, sear your burgers, sear whatever you're grilling on this thing. And then the last part is that it heats up those cooking grates. And just like on the gas grill, when you put your food onto the grill, you get vaporization at the cooking surface, you get vaporization on the grease ramp below, and that is that barbecue flavor. Because you just need a hot surface. It doesn't need to be charcoal, it doesn't need to be direct flame. You just need a hot surface to get vaporization and that grilled flavor. And whether it's one of our pellet grills, our smallest gas grill, or something that's much bigger, every Broil King grill is built to deliver better flavor. So let's go through it component by component. We'll start at the top, we'll work our way down, we'll talk about some of the key features. I'm going to grab a cooking grate and I'll come right back to you. I'm gonna grab cast iron here and a rod stainless. All right. Set these guys down. So when I said heavy cooking grates, they give you better vaporization right at the surface, what do I really mean? Well, it's all about mass. When you think about your cooking grates, think of them kind of like a battery. When you have a battery, it's going to charge up with a set amount of energy based on its capacity. And then, when you start using it, it's going to deliver that energy back to whatever it's powering until it's completely expelled. Cooking grates don't perform that much differently. You've got lots of radiant energy coming up from your burners below. They're going to charge up your cooking grates with lots of radiant energy. And then when you put that steak on there, just like you see in any of the imagery that we use, you get those perfect sear marks. That's for conduction. When you put something onto a hot surface, it's conducting that intense energy that it has to it, and it gives it that burn mark, that sear mark that we absolutely love. That's one of the things we like most about barbecue. So with any Broil King cooking grates, we wanted something heavy. It retains a lot of energy, gives you sear and vaporization right at the surface. Now I've got two different materials here, so we're going to talk about both of them. I've got heavy cast iron, and we also make this same shape in cast stainless steel. We'll get to it last. And then we've also got heavy rod stainless. We want to retain that heat, we want to give you that sear. Now performance-wise here, should I get stainless or should I get cast? Well, it all depends on what you're ready to get grilling with. A lot of Broil King grills come with cast iron cooking grates right out of the box, but they do take a little bit more work. You have to learn about seasoning. Seasoning's an ongoing thing. You're doing it on a regular basis, and you need to do that to take care of these cooking grates. Cast iron cooking grates take care. They are for pros, for professional results, but as a casual griller, you can really get great results out of it and learn to take care of it easily. Cast iron's not incredibly finicky, but it does require regular seasoning to make it work best. If you're looking for something that's really casual to work with, rod stainless is great. And we wanted to give you a rod stainless grate. Grates, they're great. We wanted to give you a rod stainless grate that could retain a lot of heat. Jeremy's nodding. Are you shaking your head?
I thought they were called grids.
No, you can say grids or grates. But we want to give you a cooking grid or grate that's going to give you great sear, lots of heat retention, and it's nice and tight. But these are also very easy to care for. I mean, cleaning rod stainless cooking grates, it's as simple as just brushing it down, seasoning a little bit, and then leaving them unattended in your grill. Cast iron's going to need a little bit more love. Season before, season after, keep them clean. These will perform, but they just don't have the extra features that you're going to get out of cast. So on the cast grates, whether it's cast iron or cast stainless, you have two sides to this, and this is a completely reversible cooking grid. On the peak side here, this is your sear mark. That's the sear mark you see on steaks, on chickens, that beautiful look that you want to see of just that little bit of burn from the sharp peak on the cooking grate itself. Now, if I take this thing and I flip it over, we've got this V side on the opposite side. And people ask us often, what do I use this for? I mean, a lot of grillers will just put their cooking grates in peak side up, and that's it. They're never going to flip it over. But if you go to this opposite side, think of all the things you can do on it. So chicken wings are one of my favorites. If I put chicken wings on the peak side, I get all these wonderful sear marks, burn marks on the chicken wings, but that's not really what I wanted on a chicken wing. I wanted golden brown, just like our chicken over here on the rotisserie. I wanted golden brown on the entire surface. So if I flip it to this side, they're all getting even conductive heat. A lot of the juices can fall into these grooves, which means that juice can just kind of chirp against the skin of the chicken wings and cook it up to a nice golden brown. And it's like a full surface sear. I mean, this is as close to a griddle as you get, but you still get the grilled flavor because you still need those drippings to fall down and vaporize and give you that wonderful grilled flavor. So when you're looking at this, look at this as just kind of a much larger surface, a lot more contact, a lot more golden brown. When you're thinking about other items like a homemade burger, if you're making fresh burgers, if you let them sit out for just a little bit, the meat becomes warmer. Warmer ground meats become, the softer they are. You take that soft, fresh burger and you put it on this side, and the first thing it's going to do is sag between those cooking grates. And when that burger sags is when you get in there with your barbecue turner to flip it over, you shave the bottom right off the burger. If you do the burgers on the V side of your cooking grits, more contact, less sag, less chance of cutting the bottom off of your burger, and you get that beautiful full surface sear. You're still going to get some of your sear marks here. It's actually twice as many, but it's a more full surface sear cook, much closer to what you get out of a griddle. Griddle's another great way to cook it, but remember, if you're not getting dripping, you're not getting vaporization, you're not getting grilled flavor. So a griddle is great for sauteing some onions, maybe doing a smash burger. Just know that you're not going to get that great grilled flavor out of a smash burger cooked on a griddle itself. So that's a little bit about cooking grits. Now directly below them we've got what's called a flavor wave. In the industry you'll know them as heat tents or flavor bars, but essentially this is what's replaced lava rock and ceramic briquettes. And we still get questions about those. I bought a grill, do I need to get some lava rock or ceramic briquettes? No. Those have been out of the grilling industry for almost 20 years now, and they were replaced by this. So the idea behind ceramic briquettes and lava rocks and flavor waves are really to give you something above the burner, because the burner doesn't produce perfectly even heat, to give you more even heat, but to give you that vaporization surface. Grilling isn't new, and the principles behind grilling haven't really changed since the inception of meat over fire. Juices drip into it, that rises up, and that's your grilled flavor. This is that vaporization surface that replaces charcoal, going all the way back. So when juices fall onto lava rock, ceramic briquettes, or this, they vaporize and they flavor your food. So when you're thinking of the flavor wave, take a look at the angle. They're not incredibly steep. And we have them nice and shallow at 45 degrees so that the juices can roll down the hills on the side very slowly, and they can, that's right, they can vaporize, flavor your food. We want to give you full coverage on this as well. So when you look into this Broil King grill, and I'll take out both of the cooking grates here, we want to make sure that it's filling up as much of the inside of the cook box as possible. Because when those drippings fall, we want them to hit something. We don't want them to just fall straight into the drip tray below. So you've got as much full surface coverage as you can possibly get on the inside of this grill. You've got lots of vaporization spaces here, and you're going to have that great grilled flavor. We talked a lot about the burners already, so I don't think we need to come back to those. And like I said, it all starts with that drip tray. When you pull that drip tray out and it isn't full of juices, you're not losing your barbecue flavor. Always look at your drip tray as a place where you're going to lose any of your grilled flavor. I think that's a good start on flavor. Jeremy, am I missing anything here?
You got it all covered.
Okay. Tyler, how are we doing for time?
Pretty good. So about 38 minutes.
Perfect. And then do we have any questions in the chat so far that I could jump into before we go on to the next stuff?
You've answered 2 of them, but I'll give you all 3 anyways. Do you prefer cast iron or stainless?
That's a good question.
Can you use a pellet grill in winter? From Max.
Also a good question.
And then Adam would like to know, what do you like to season the grates with?
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to start with cast iron and stainless. I'm going to go into the seasoning after that because it's super important. And then by that time, I'll have forgotten the third question, so you're going to have to remind me. As far as preference goes, it's tough.
Cast iron.
Okay, Jeremy's incredibly partial to cast iron. In the test kitchen here, we're usually fairly spoiled with cast stainless because it's the best of both worlds. It's incredibly rugged, like rod stainless cooking grates, but it gives you all the performance of cast iron. I'm a cast iron nut at home. I have a full set of cast iron cookware. I keep it wonderfully seasoned. I'm in a couple of Facebook groups and Reddit groups just on cast iron care and how to really restore it and take care of it and all of this stuff. Cast iron's fun, but it is a bit of a labor of love. I mean, everybody's grandmother's got that cast iron pan that she's taken care of for her entire life, and it's beautiful. It's got that wonderful patina on it. And sometimes people think of cast iron like there's a silver bullet to take care of it. It's a one-shot thing. I can just do this one seasoning once and it'll be fine for its lifetime. Cast iron is great if you're willing to put in the time to take care of it. If you're not willing to put in the time to take care of it, I'd say go with rod stainless. So if I were to be a very lazy version of me when it comes to grilling, I'd get rod stainless because I can dial in the temperature properly to get the perfect sear off of this. Now here's the challenge with that dialing it in properly. You might know this from stainless steel pans in your kitchen. If they're not at the right temp when meat hits the pan, no matter how much oil you have on it, it's going to stick to the stainless. Stainless at the wrong temperature is going to be sticky. So you take a chicken breast, you put it on a rod stainless cooking grates, they're way too hot, they're burning the oil off, and chicken sticks. You get nervous, you don't want to wait for it to develop that sear mark, you go to flip it, and you tear a bunch of the chicken off. And I think anyone's experienced this that's cooked on stainless. Well, if you've got a great season on cast iron, and it's at a wide range of temperatures, it's not going to give you that same approach. I mean, when you build that patina up on your cast iron, it acts like nonstick cookware, but it does take that extra bit of love. So we're going to get into that about seasoning and care for cast iron in a bit. I prefer cast, always. I love having the versatility of both sides, but I've got some pretty amazing results on rod stainless cooking grates as well. And they give you a little bit more of a golden brown sear than the intense dark black sear that you'd see from cast iron, because they have a little bit more surface area, it's rounded, it's not sharp. They give you a bit more of a golden sear. So there's benefits to both, but I have to go with Jeremy and say that I prefer the cast. What was part 2 of that Tyler,
What do you
on
like to season them with?
So seasoning is great, and seasoning is one of those topics where everybody has a lot of opinions. If you were to go by any website, they're going to show you a list of smoke points on oils, and they're going to say, well, just go for the highest smoke point oil. The problem is that the highest smoke point oil is going to be avocado oil, rice bran oil. What else is up there?
Expensive oils.
Yeah, they're expensive oils, thank you. And that's what I'm getting at. All of the oils that are recommended on those websites to season your cooking grades with are incredibly expensive. You want to make the investment in it, it's going to give you the best performance. I mean, if you've got avocado oil that smokes at, I think, 570 degrees Fahrenheit, that's incredibly high. It's not going to burn off at a lower temperature. It's a great oil to cook with, but it's also going to cost you more in the long run. If you want to work with something more like a vegetable oil, no, they're not so great. Olive oil is just a little bit better than that. There is grapeseed oil. What's the one that I'm missing here? There's one more oil that I'm missing, but they're all good mid-temperature oils. If you use them the right way, they will perform. I think the biggest challenge that people run into when they're talking about this is they'll go buy the expensive oil and they'll just use a little bit of it. They'll get their oil mister, they'll put the avocado oil into it, and they'll spray too little on the cooking grates. And too little oil on the cooking grates or too little oil on the food is not going to give you the result that you want. It's not going to season your grates, and it's not going to prevent your food from burning. Because as soon as your food goes completely dry, there's no oil and there's no moisture on the surface, it's going to burn. It's the only next thing that it could do. It just has to turn into char after that. So don't be sparing with the oil, be generous with it, and choose one that's going to work for you. And if that's olive oil, use olive oil. But remember, it's going to burn off, and you're going to have to re-season afterwards. So when you're done with your cook, just remember that you're going to have to clean your grill and then season it. And really, I'd say get into that no matter what you're doing. So there's lots of options. Check out any of those websites that make recommendations. In the user's guide for our grill, we certainly make recommendations. One of them is definitely rice bran oil because it's incredibly versatile. But find something that works for you, and don't use too little. Make sure you're using the right amount. You'll know because it's going to look glossy and wet and black, a lot like this. And we'll get into that shortly. And what was the last question you had there, Tyler?
Can you use the pellet grill in the winter?
Yes. Using a pellet grill in the winter is 100%. I mean, we're a Canadian company, right? We're based in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada here. For the last couple of weeks, it has been frigid. Today is nice and warm. We're up in the teens, but we make grills that grill all year long. Whether you're in Edmonton, Alberta, in the middle of the winter grilling on one of our Broil King gas grills, we wanted to make sure that your pellet grill could do that too. So what's the difference? What's the difference between grilling in the summer and grilling in the winter? Just like a gas grill, it's fuel consumption. You're going to burn more fuel to achieve the same temperatures in the winter. So your pellet grill is going to chew through more pellets smoking, more pellets grilling in the winter. It's going to take a little bit more time to warm up. Of course, you have over 200 pounds of material here. You have to preheat and get up to a temperature that's ready to grill. So it will take longer to heat up in the winter, but it'll deliver the same results because the brain on your pellet grill says, I need to get to 600 degrees, and it's going to do whatever it can to get there. It's going to burn more wood, it's going to keep the wood coming, and it's going to keep that fire hot to get preheated and get ready to grill. You don't need to buy a blanket for one of these. The Regal pellet grills, the Crown pellet grills that we make in Broil King are designed to grill in the winter and in the summer. The Crown is definitely going to burn more wood because it just doesn't have the mass, the double wall, just the size of the Regal. The Regal is a real monster in the winter. Jeremy.
One more question.
Okay, one more question.
Another question from Britt. They'd like to know, how do we prevent chicken from sticking to stainless steel?
So the best way to prevent chicken from sticking to stainless steel is slow down. Whether it's chicken wings, whether it's chicken breasts, whether it's a chicken that you've butterflied and you're going to grill, we rush when we grill. How many times have you had chicken wings where you pick them up and they're just black on the outside and you bite into it and you look at it and think, I hope this is cooked enough. It's like that because whoever cooked them, they rushed, and we all do this. You get in front of the grill and you want to cook that thing, you're going to crank it up to maximum high, and you're going to char the outside, but you're not going to get the proper doneness on the inside. One of the great things about chicken is it has all of this connective fat and connective tissue on the inside that you want to break down. So if you take your time, you start to break that down, and it moisturizes the meat. It seems weird to say it like that, but it makes the meat more moist as you're cooking. So with chicken wings, instead of cooking them in 15 minutes, charring the outside, and then having them pink right at the bone, take your time. If you take up to 45 minutes to cook your chicken wings, wait for that beautiful golden brown on this chicken that just keeps turning on the rotisserie chicken channel here. If you wait for that beautiful golden brown, it's going to come, but the inside of the chicken is going to be perfectly cooked. Any chicken that's dark meat, whether that's thighs, whether that's the wings, you can't overcook it. You can burn it, but you can't overcook it. So you can keep cooking it down, but it's really just going to keep rendering that fat that's on the inside to give you a better experience. So, chicken breasts. You oil them up and season them up, and you put them onto an oiled stainless cooking grate at a medium temperature. If you're rolling tons of smoke as soon as it touches the grill, it's probably going to stick. If it's just a little bit of smoke, not too intense of a sear, you're going to get a good feel for it. Give it some time too. We tend to panic and think, oh my gosh, I'm burning the chicken, I've got to flip it now. If you reach in with your barbecue tongs, and I'm going to pretend here at the cooking surface, if you reach in with your barbecue tongs and you grab onto that chicken, and when you start to lift, if it feels like it's stuck to the cooking grates, it hasn't gotten enough of a sear to release. As it's searing on the cooking grates, eventually it's going to dry out enough on that surface to let go. And once it lets go, you can actually take it and flip it. It may be a little bit too intense of a sear mark than what you're looking for. Next time, just bring your temperature down a bit, but just wait. Just be patient with it. If you can grab the chicken breast and flip it easily, that's the right amount of time. The first chicken breast always tells you exactly how the others are going to perform, and the first flip is the hardest. So don't worry, don't panic, but just get a feel for it. I mean, with a gas grill, with a pellet grill, a lot of your experience has to do with your experience. When you stand in front of the grill and grill something for the first time, the results are going to be not entirely what you're expecting, but you're going to get a better relationship with the grill as you go, and you're going to get a better feel for exactly where you want to dial those temperatures into. And that's one of the big reasons why we put so many burners on a gas grill now, so you can dial in that perfect temperature to get that perfect grilling experience. Any more now, Tyler, before I jump into the top 5? How are we doing for time?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. This is kind of perfect. All right, so we've got a top 5 list of the most common questions that we get asked about grilling. And I wanted to make sure that we covered that today, just in case it doesn't come up in the chat. So number 1, how do I clean my grill? I mean, we're coming into spring right now. It's a nice warm day. How do I get my grill ready for spring? How do I clean up the outside? How do I clean it on the inside? By the way, if you head over to YouTube, we have some great videos for this on the Broil King YouTube channel on cleaning the exterior of your grill and cleaning the interior of your grill. I'm going to run through some of it today, but they are in-depth, deep dive on it. Number 2, proper brushing and brush safety. Brushes are a hot topic. And well, in the kitchen here, as we're wearing the chef's jackets, we always want to talk about food. A clean grill is where you're going to get the best flavor from. If your grill's dirty, everything that we can make here isn't going to taste as good. You don't want to cook fish 2 weeks ago, leave all those fishy remains all over the grill, and then smoke your steaks or your chicken over that old fish. It's just not a great flavor. So we're going to talk about grill brushes and how to properly clean your grill in and out of a cook. I'm going to take a quick drink here. Where I put my beverage, or you took my beverage. Okay, they can see that it's bubbly. We don't make fizzy beverages. All right, so we're going to talk about how to clean your grill. Clean in and then clean out of your cook. We're going to move into seasoning after that. So while we touched on it a little bit, what is seasoning? What's a patina? How do I take care of my cast iron cookware? That's one of the big ones for us, so it's definitely in the top 5. Number 4, fun items. Do more with your grill is one of our big campaigns that we do in grill accessories here at Broil King. So we're going to talk about some items that are nice to have around the grill. And then we're going to move into the essentials. What do you need? I just bought a gas grill. It's spring. I'm going to go into TA Appliances. I'm going to buy a brand new Regal 590 grill. What do I need? Because when you go home, if you don't have everything to have that great cooking experience, you've got a beautiful backyard decoration, but nothing to go with it. So there's some accessories that you need. Always remember your propane or your pellets. And then you can actually start with a great grilling experience. So let's start it off with, how do I clean my grill? Spring's here. Your grill's either been under a cover, it's been in the shed for the entire winter. At very best, it's dusty. At worst, it's dirty. And it's got some cleaning needs that need to be taken care of. The first place to start is wash it. And by wash it, I mean soap, water, a bowl or a bucket that you can put all that into, and a cloth that you can wash it with. Don't use any of those scrubbing pads. So those little green Brillo pads or steel wool or anything like that. If you get that out and start using it on your grill, you're going to damage the stainless steel. So if we took one of those green scrubbing pads and started scrubbing this here, unless I stay perfectly in line with the brushing on the stainless, I'm going to damage the stainless. I'm going to take that beautiful brush finish that I have and I'm going to wreck it. So don't use the green scrubbing pads, just use a cloth and water to start breaking up a lot of the grime, the dust, and the initial grease. There's stuff that's not going to come off. When you were grilling last season, you get, and we might have some of it on the grill here, you get some grease that sticks to the outside of the stainless steel, to the side shelves while you're cooking. And that stuff, as it gets hot, it gets burned on, it gets a little bit caked on. It doesn't come off with soap and water. It's going to be on there a little bit more firmly. There's two ways to deal with it. You can use a grill and casting degreaser. So this is meant to actually take those greases, those burnt on brown greases, break them down, and then make it easier to wash off the grill. Bring it back to that initial shine. Otherwise, if it's much more stubborn, like the burnt on grease that you get, you know, when you're looking at the front of your grill here, and you've got this trim piece, why do you keep this one so clean? It's got to be dirty. We need something dirtier to show. But on this trim piece here, you get some burnt on bits, and they're going to be a little bit difficult to remove with a degreaser. So you would use something that we call grill revitalizer. This is basically a micro abrasive. So it's not going to wreck the brushing on the stainless steel, but it will take any of that burnt on stuff and just start breaking it down. Kind of like a really, really, really fine sandpaper on a cloth. And you just start rubbing it down, and it will remove any of that stuff and bring it back to its natural shine. Works on porcelain surfaces, works on stainless steel incredibly well. So this is I have something that's not coming off at all. And this is I need to melt the grease on my grill cleaner. So once you have it washed, once you have it degreased, and once you have it revitalized, then the last thing you want to do is give it a rinse and then give it a shine. Stainless steel can look dull if it gets incredibly dry, and if you're trying to impress your friends, stainless steel grill cleaner and polish is always a great place to go. Now remember, because this is an easy one for most grillers to forget, this is not a through and through cleaner. If your grill is incredibly dirty, incredibly greasy, this is more of a polish to make it shine. This isn't going to break up tons of grease. It's actually just going to help you push it around. So clean the grill up and then polish it with this, and you can keep it polished with that throughout. It's a great way to keep a lot of the grime throughout the summer from sticking to your grill. When you're doing that clean, go deep. Take the control knobs off. Because if you take the control knobs off, now you can go wash these up in the sink, take any of the grease out of them, give them a scrub in between any of the notches on the knob. It's not going to hurt it by taking it off, and they push back on very easily afterwards. When you're scrubbing your control panel, don't go too crazy. And this is why I don't say you use those green scrubbing pads, because if you use that green scrubbing pad, it will take all the graphics off the front of your control panel. And they are a great guide to tell you how to set your temperatures. Watch the handle, watch the shelves, watch the doors. Take a look in the cabinet. Did anything make a home in your grill over the winter? You're going to have to sweep that out, brush that out, and then give the cabinet a quick wash. Take a look in your grease tray. The last place that you need to check, maybe there's rain in there from the winter. I mean, if you didn't cover your grill, there's no way to keep the moisture out of the grill, so there could be water pooled in there. So these are all great things to take a look at. Before we go, inside the grill. Now, cleaning out the inside of your grill is easy, but there's a couple ways you can do it. You can get crazy with the degreaser, and you can make a big mess, and you can wash that mess all over your deck and your backyard. Or you can just turn up the heat. Broil King grills get hot, and when you set them on high all the way along, you are going to get some intense heat that can actually incinerate everything that's on the inside of the grill. So you could go degreaser, and you could create a big mess and wash that all over your backyard. Or you could really just take everything inside your grill and burn it to ash. So connect your propane tank or connect it to the natural gas, turn it on, and get it hot. If it's smoking, there's organic matter inside the grill that's still burning. If it stops smoking, everything has been burnt up completely, and then it's easier to brush down. Here's a great check to see how you're taking care of your brush maintenance on your grill. So when you look at your grill brush, if this thing is caked with grime, sticky, black, ashen looking grime, but it's really, really kind of gooey stuff, your grill isn't hot enough, the material on the inside of it hasn't been burnt up enough before you start brushing it down. So you're simply just not getting it hot enough. You're moving around a lot of grime. If you burn the grill off completely, you're brushing ash, and ash doesn't build up in the bristles of your brush. You're just breaking off ashen bits on the cooking grates. They're falling down into the grill layer by layer. When you're doing that spring cleaning, start with a burn off, wait till it stops smoking, open the lid, turn the grill off, and just let it cool. You don't have to get in there right away and start brushing down unless you've got some heavy-duty gloves that are going to keep your hands from getting burnt up. Once it cools down, start brushing. And you can brush on the inside of the lid, you can brush on the inside of the cook box, you can brush the cooking grates. Then you take them out and you flip them over and you brush the other side. Set your cooking grates off to the side, start brushing the flavor waves, take them out, set them off to the side, brush the inside of the cook box. You can either push all of the material that you've now knocked down in the bottom of the grill into the grease tray and pull it out, or a shop vac is an easy way to get rid of it as well. It all depends on how you want to do it. It's also why I recommend letting it cool first. You don't want hot barbecue bits going into your shop vac. That'll clean out the inside of your grill and simply reassemble it layer by layer. Turn it on, get it warm, and then start seasoning it with some oil. And just be generous with the oil in that first season when you're getting back into it for the season. Something that comes up often when we're talking about cleaning is the inside of the lid and the inside of the cook box here. And what you'll sometimes see is what looks like peeling paint. We get asked this question all the time. Well, this piece here is porcelain coated. There's no paint on it whatsoever. And this one is steel. It has no paint, gets no finish in the factory when we're developing it. But what happens over time is your grill starts to build up carbon on the inside of the lid. And that carbon, as it gets thicker and drier, starts to peel. And it looks like peeling black paint. Don't worry, the inside of your cook box here and here isn't painted. Nothing is peeling, it's just carbon peeling off. Now, as it starts to peel, it can turn into the weird looking seasoning on your food. And you want to bust that off before you start grilling, because you don't want any of those flakes from the inside of your lid on your food. They're just not that appetizing. It's something you don't want to have. So brush down the inside of your lid, inside of your cook box, but don't worry if anything starts peeling inside your grill. That's not paint, it's just carbon buildup. And I think that's a quick one on cleaning. Anything I missed?
We have a question. Do you prefer metal or wood brushes?
That's a good question. And our next topic here. So we're going to get into brushing next. We've gone through some of the cleaners, how to clean up your grill and get it ready for the season. The next thing is really about brushing. What are we going to do to take care of that grill? Tyler, how many minutes do I have to cover these 20 accessories?
You have 19 minutes.
All right, tons of time. So on the brushing side of things, I've got options here. And I've laid out a whole bunch of my favorites that we manufacture. In grill brushing, we try to be innovative. Our product development team here works closely with the team at CSA to come up with great new innovative ideas to give you alternatives that don't entirely relate to bristles. What are you guys laughing about?
Just some char.
I have char on my face. Yeah. Can I get some on the other side?
Just the left.
Under my eyes?
Left.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's okay. Grill guy. Used to having char on my face. I do have this one experience. I'm making a total segue here. I do have this one experience where we were doing a live show in Toronto a couple years ago, and I was cutting jalapenos to teach people how to make jalapeno poppers. And in the middle of the show, I went like this, right in my eye, and it just started to burn. And I went off stage to clear it out, but I didn't realize I still had my mic on, so I had a hot mic backstage as I was cursing myself for getting jalapeno in my eye. That was nice and embarrassing when you can hear it coming through the speakers out front. Anyway, brushes. It happens. On the brush side of things, we're always trying to be innovative. We know that people are concerned about stainless bristles, so we want to give them options that are different. But the thing is, stainless bristles are still the most effective to clear up grime on your grill. So we'll talk about them last, because there's a lot of innovation we've got here. I'm going to talk about options first. In grill brushes, you can go with a grill scraper. It's a great option. It takes on the contour of your grill, and it basically just peels off all the material down to the patina so that you've got a nice smooth surface that you can grill on any time. Grill scrapers work great and they last an incredibly long period of time. All you have to do is make sure you're careful to take on the right contour of your cooking grates. So same action each time, 2 hands, get in there and just bust that stuff up as you're doing it. However, you're gonna need a brush. So when you're thinking about brushing, you gotta think about materials. We have a cool brush here. These are nylon bristles. Use it on your grill when it's cold. Anything below 250 degrees Fahrenheit. We've got the warning right on the neck. And these are nylon bristles that are nice and stiff, and they can break up any of that grime. Just don't put them on a hot grill because they will shrink up into tiny little nylon balls on the end of the brush itself. Another option would be this material. This is called Palmyra. So these are palm fibers. They're done just like bristles, but if you have one of these guys that breaks off, it's okay, it's wood. It's gonna burn up in your grill. And it's not gonna have that hazard of a severed bristle on your grill. So another safe option, and it's designed a lot like our heavy-duty professional brush here. We have this brush, which is, I don't know if you can see that through the packaging, but we've got coil springs here. So the springs are way tougher than standard bristles, and they're going to work just like a bristled grill brush because these springs are gonna rub along the sides of your cooking grates and break up all that material. And in this pack, you get 2 different heads. They just drop into the head on the grill brush, makes them completely replaceable. Otherwise, we have more crazy, more innovative things like the ice brush here. The ice brush kind of combines a couple of great ideas into one. So you've got your grill scraper that contours to your cooking surface, But if you were to do that with ice, you have the grill scraper effect with that contoured shape. But then as it's melting, it's also rinsing material off your cooking grates. I love these on pellet grills because on a pellet grill, I'm not cleaning the grill off at an incredibly high temperature. I want to scrape off any of the grime, but then there's also going to be some smoke stuck to the cooking grates. I want to rinse that away as it's happening. So I brush and I rinse, and this is kind of a great way to do it. These are alternatives to the stainless grill brush. Okay, so let's talk about why these get flack in the first place. Stainless grill brushes get crapped on in the media every year because someone buys a 99-cent grill brush, they use it for 3 years, and the bristles start to fall out. Of course they do. I mean, if you did that with a toothbrush or anything else, it would be a bad consumer experience. Let's go through the journey on that, though. You take your grill brush, you start brushing your cooking grates. A bristle wiggles loose, and it falls into the bottom of the cook box, right? Your grill's clean. Oh, wait. If it's going to stick to your food, it doesn't fall to the bottom of your cook box. So you start brushing your grill, the bristle detaches, and then it sticks to the grime on the cooking surface, because that's how it's going to get transferred to your food. Your cooking surface is really dirty. It's grimy. You have a bristle stuck to that, and then you take your food and you put it down on it, and it picks it up, and then somebody ingests it. And there's a couple of mistakes that get made in there. So I want you to start thinking about your grill brush, kind of like a toothbrush, and start thinking about your cooking grates more like cookware in the kitchen than cooking grates. We are all guilty of this. We will take our grill, we'll cook up an awesome meal, and what are we going to do? We're going to walk over to it, and we're going to turn it off and walk away. We're done. We don't need to cook on that anymore. Okay, so let's do that with something in the kitchen. I fried up an awesome meal in my frying pans. I'm done. I'm going to turn them off, put them in the cupboard. See you in 2 weeks. You'd never do it because it sounds crazy when you think about it with cookware. You wouldn't take your pots and pans and make mashed potatoes and put the dirty pot away. It's crazy, but we do it with our grill all the time. So we got to come a little bit towards the kitchen world here, and we've got to come up with something that's a little bit more moderate. We've got to come up with a system where we can clean our grill before and after and get the best results. So we're going to clean our cooking grates a little bit better. Now think about your grill brush like a toothbrush. Your dentist tells you got to replace your toothbrush every 3 months. Do you replace your grill brush every 3 months? Every season? Maybe 2? And then think of the cost. I mean, even a cheaper handheld toothbrush, which is about the size of the head of this thing, is going to cost you up to $10. The replacement heads on a Sonicare are what, $10 or more a piece? It's crazy how much they are for those electric toothbrushes. A grill brush, a good grill brush, is going to be less than $20. The best grill brushes are less than $20. So why wouldn't you replace it on a regular basis? It's not designed to work forever. It's designed to clean your grill until it loses its performance. And it does that when these look bad. If these bristles are going in every direction, if this thing's caked in grime, if it looks as bad as it could, then it's done. I mean, really, if your grill brush is so nasty that you don't even want to hold it near your face nor touch it near your food, why are you cleaning your grill with it? You want to make sure that you're using a good quality grill brush that's in great shape to clean your grill the right way. So how do we do that? We're going to take our grill and we're going to get it hot. Remember, we got to burn up all that organic matter. When that organic matter is all charred, we're going to brush it down, break it off the cooking grates. And then after that, we're going to season our cooking grates with some oil before we start cooking. When we're done cooking, if you leave material on your cooking grates, you can get a couple of things. You can get rust or you can get mold. And neither of them are very enjoyable. All of the stuff that we grill on our grill is loaded with liquid, fat, salt, and sugar. And all of those things hate metal. So the longer you leave them on there, the more damage they can do to your cooking grates. If you leave your cooking grates bare and dry, covered in sugary water, salty water, they're going to break down. But then think about the other things that you can get. If you have a lot of organic matter on your cooking grates, you leave your grill unattended for a week, 2 weeks, what color is that mold that's going to grow on there? So we want to avoid that. What kind of critters are you inviting to your grill? If you've left them a meal, they're going to find their way in, and they're going to want to eat that off your cooking grates. While they're there, you know what else they're going to be doing. So let's get it clean on the way out. So you cook your great meal, you burn it off again, stop smoking, brush it down, and then season your cooking grates. It's a great cycle to get into. So we burn, brush, season, cook, burn, brush, season, and then let it sit. And it's ready for your next cooking. It also prevents something that I like to call grilling forest fires. If you're not cleaning your grill on a regular basis, but you are cooking on it on a regular basis, where's all of that stuff going? When that piece falls off of the end of your strip loin steak into the grill, where'd it go? It didn't disappear. That asparagus that you lost, that hunk of a pepper, they're all going into the bottom of the grill. And they land on the flavor wave. And it builds up to what I like to call on a lot of people's grills a forest fire. They go out there and they heat their grill up, they grill on it, turn it off, heat it up, cook on it, turn it off. And all this stuff keeps building up. Well, eventually it's going to get enough oil on it and enough material that it's just going to want to burn. And when it burns, it's going to burn big. So if you burn your grill off on a regular basis, you avoid those. Clean your grill, burn it off, brush it down, and then season it, which is the next thing we're getting into. Tyler, any questions on that?
Question, can you clean your grill brush or just toss it?
In general, I would toss them, but I work at a grill company. So, can you clean it? If the bristles are primarily straight and in good shape, feel free to clean it. Best way to clean it that I can recommend would be to soak it in soap and water and then try to break up any of the material in it and then give it a rinse. Putting it in your dishwasher, don't do it. It'll destroy the wood. It's going to be bad for your dishwasher too. Your dishes are going to be covered in whatever was in that grill brush. So in general, I would just soak it, break up the material, and then rinse it out and put it back into circulation. But they're not that expensive, so it's a good idea to get into replacing them on a regular basis. 3 months is what we recommend. Check it every 3 months, and if it needs to be replaced, get it out of circulation. Any other questions?
Not right now.
Okay, so we're going to move on to seasoning next. We got a nice clean grill, and we keep talking about seasoning your cooking grades. So I've got 2 different pieces of cast iron here. When you take cast iron cookware straight out of the packaging, it looks just like this wok, or like the cooking grate we had earlier. This is bare and dry for an enamel-coated cast iron. Bare cast iron is going to look a lot more metallic than this. The enamel's put on there to protect it, give it a little extra layer of protection when it's in transit, when it's just getting started on your grill, so that you don't get any surface rust. But the longer you use cast iron, the more chance you have of getting surface rust. So that's when you got to start building up this, which is a patina. So patina comes from seasoning. And as I've witnessed on a lot of these cast iron groups that I'm part of, people are terrified of wrecking their cast iron finish. In a grill, you're dealing with high temperatures. High temperatures don't like the patina that you build on your cast iron cookware. So it's basically a matter of getting it, losing it, getting it back, losing it, getting it back, and losing it. It's a back and forth battle. If you cooked at low and medium temperatures all the time, you'd build up a beautiful, dark, glossy patina on your cookware. It would be amazing. I have a skillet at home that I only ever cook eggs on. It has that, but that pan never really gets that hot. Any of my other cast iron pans, I use them to cook bulgogi in them, I sear steaks in them, I cook a lot of things at high temperatures. And as soon as you do that, you wreck the patina and you've got to start over again. And I brush those things down with steel wool to get them back. We're not gonna wash our cooking grates, but we're gonna realize that there are some expectations that you gotta run into. So, if you've wrecked the patina on your cooking grates, that's okay, you can get it back. Spray them down with some oil, bake that oil in, spray them down with some oil, grill your food, clean them, spray, it'll build up in layers over time. You're gonna burn it off, you're gonna break it up. These things happen. On a griddle like this, you could take care of it much more like cast iron cookware, but just remember, even on your cast iron griddle, if you get it really, really hot, it's gonna break up the patina like it would on your cooking grates. These things happen. There's nothing that is perfect about it. Cast iron is a labor of love, and it's not a one-shot thing. So if anyone ever says to you, all you gotta do is take your cast iron cookware, season it once and it's ready to go, it's a lie. Season it every time. Every single cook is a step in seasoning to get you towards that perfect finish on the outside. Any questions on that one, Tyler?
Nope.
All right. So the next thing that we had on the list were accessories, kind of nice to haves, innovative things, that stuff that's going to allow you to do more on your grill. So when we talk about do more, grilling isn't just steaks and chicken and pork chops and burgers and sausages. It's so many other things. I mean, your gas grill is more versatile than your oven because it can cook at ultra high temperatures. You can generate a ton of smoke. You can bake the perfect pizza on it at ultra high temperatures. There's much more that you can do on a gas grill than you can do with an oven. So we want to encourage you to do more. So when you're thinking about accessories, think about all the other things that you could do in your backyard. A pizza party is a ton of fun. Getting a pizza stone and doing that perfect, authentic Neapolitan-style pizza in your backyard is easy. It is an enjoyable group activity. My kids specifically love making pizzas so they can toss them out of the grill. All of their 3 toppings that they love. It's as creative as they're going to get. But they love to put the toppings onto the pizza, see it go onto the grill, and then see it come out just a couple minutes later. That's fun. That's doing more with your grill. But there are other things you can do. Get a smoker box. Get a pellet smoker box and put it on your gas grill. Get some flavor, some wood flavor into those things that you're grilling. get yourself a side shelf grill mat. We use these things all over the place here. So this is kind of like a boot mat that would be in your car, but it is a dirty tools mat that goes on your grill. I mean, you don't want to get your grill covered in sauce and juice all the time when you're cooking on it. So if you got one of these mats and you threw it on the side shelf, now your dirty tools can sit on top of that mat and make it dirty and easy to clean up in the kitchen instead of your side shelf. You don't have to come out and wash the grill. You just take the mat up, bring it in, wash it down. It's easy to take care of. They're silicone, they can take a lot of heat, so you can set cooking grates on them as well. So a side shelf mat's one of those nice to have items. A pellet bin. I mean, if you've got a pellet grill, you've probably got pellets. It's the fuel that you're gonna need. But a storage bin for your pellets is a great thing to have, and it makes it much easier to pour. You know, those giant 20-pound bags are kind of difficult to pour with. Sometimes it ends up on your deck. Sometimes it goes in the hopper. To have a bin with an easy pour spout, where you can just pour it easily into the hopper, that's kind of nice to have. So that's one of those great items to help you do more. Otherwise, a pellet scoop. With the back here, you can sift out any of the extra pellet dust, and these are just all items that are going to help you have a better grilling experience. Those are nice to haves, but what about must haves? So when you buy that grill, you go out there and you find that grill of your dreams. Is that a pun? Feels like a pun. You go out there and get the grill of your dreams. There's some essential items that you need to get. So you buy that gas grill or your pellet grill. You put it in your truck, you get it home, you get it built, celebration. I don't have pellets, I don't have propane. So now I have to go get other things. Well, while you're at the store, consider some of these other things that you need. If you bought a pellet grill, you need pellets. If you bought a gas grill, you need propane. But the one that everyone seems to overlook is a cover. A grill cover is going to protect that investment. You can buy a grill and stick it in your backyard and it will last for years to come. Yes, of course. But the cover is going to help it stay clean. The cover is going to help it last longer. The cover is going to keep the water out of it when it's raining incredibly hard, and it's going to keep the snow off of it in that snowstorm. There's nothing worse than going into your backyard and your grill is completely iced up and you just can't turn it on. The control knobs are frozen because there's water that's gone in behind the control panel. It's not a great experience. So a cover is a great way to keep your grill protected all year long. And if anything, just for dust and sun protection, it is an absolute must-have. We make exact fit covers for every single Broil King grill, so if you're buying one, cover's a great item to get. Now let's look at some of the other essential items. You absolutely need a grill brush. Even if you had one before, just buy a new grill brush. You bought a new grill, get a brush to go along with it. Get yourself some grilling gloves. There's a couple different options. You can go with the, I wish I knew the name of this again, but it's basically an aramid material, kind of like a fireproof suit. These things are great. They give you a lot of dexterity. They're a wonderful baking and grilling glove to pick up grill accessories. But my absolute favorite is just our heavy leather grilling gloves. These are kind of like a welding glove for grilling. And you can pick up all those hot accessories, but you can also pick up dirty cooking grates. I mean, your grill's going to get dirty on the inside, so you want something that you can be able to work with that material with, like these gloves. So they're heavy-duty leather gloves. You can pick up any of the dirty stuff on the inside of your grill. You can pick up those hot grill accessories. They're just in my opinion, these things are definitely a must-have. They'll keep your hands warm when you're grilling in the winter, which is not today. It's beautiful outside today. Get a thermometer. Guessing at the doneness of your food is not a great idea. Chicken has a specific doneness. The perfect steak has a specific doneness. Sure, you can do this. I'm sure someone's shown you how this works before, but thermometer always tells you when it's perfectly done. Get a thermometer. It's just the best way to prevent you from overcooking or undercooking your foods. Your guests will appreciate it. A multi-tool. If your Broil King grill didn't come with this thing, this is pretty much one of the most essential tools you can get. There are tons of our grill accessories that you can pick up with it. So you just put a multi-tool in there and now you can lift this grill accessory out without doing it with your hands. Or this is the best way to take out your cooking grates. So the square notch here is for cast iron, and the round notch is for stainless steel product grates. How many minutes do I have?
Like 30 seconds, but a quick question about infrared
Oh,
side
man.
burners.
Okay.
What are they, and how do they compare to the regular side burner?
Oh, okay. We got 30 seconds. This went by so fast. In any case, I'm going to throw this in here before this ends. So if you guys have any additional questions related to this whole grilling topic that we've gone through here today, we'll be able to answer them. We can probably put together a post on it after the fact. I know George at TA can definitely get in touch with us. So I'll go into a little bit on the infrared side burner thing here. Infrared side burners and direct flame burners are both great to have, but think about an infrared side burner kind of like a sports car. You never bought it because it was practical. You didn't buy a sports car for its towing capacity or its trunk space. You bought it because it was fun. That's what an infrared side burner is. Because when it comes to practicality, they're not as good as a direct flame burner for pots and pans. They can't go as low as a direct flame burner to simmer, and they can't boil a pot of water as fast. So an infrared side burner is kind of just a fun thing to have if you want to get that perfect sear on a tomahawk steak or a tuna steak. They're neat. They're really neat. And for that reason, they're fun to buy. But otherwise, a direct flame burner, 10 times more practical. Buy the direct flame burner if you want the practicality and the versatility with pots and pans. Buy the infrared side burner because you just want a sports car attached to your sports car. In any case, I guess I got to cut it off soon. So, like I said before, I'm Ben Street, Grill Master here at Broil King. We've got Jeremy over here, another Grill Master at Broil King. We got Rarish behind the camera, and then we had Tyler on the chat today. Thank you very much for joining us, and I guess we'll see you next time.